wrong, and you won't have enough stock. And so you need to build in some kind of buffer around there that is reflective of the error margins that your predictive model is forecasting.
Great. So my next question to you then is, how do you compete on price without setting your margins on fire?
Well, that's a great question. And I think as we think about that, we've got to pull back a little bit and think about the broader context. What are the various levers that we're pulling? There's cost, there is pricing, there is expected margin, and there's volume. And they're all different levers we can pull. Certainly on the cost part, for digital products, there can be a marginal cost of almost zero. So in which case, the real asset that you have is pricing, optimization. Sometimes reducing margin, but increasing volume gets you to a higher absolute number. So one has to start with the KPI that one is trying to solve towards to begin with. But on pricing in particular, I think setting guardrails up front is important. Retailers are being much stricter now on maintaining and holding the line on minimum advertised price, and really enforcing that. And if you are not holding to that, you'll be punished with that in terms of your visibility. So set discount rails now, and you can tier it by SKU, you can tier it by region, make sure you're holding the line, make sure that you are working in partnership as a brand with the retailer. So on top of agreed upon rules that you might have with a retail partner and expectations around margins, pricing, volume, etc., I think it's also important to leverage AI and data tools to automate some of those rules and not make it guesswork. So whether that is putting in place competitive triggers, seeing what your competition's doing, how that relates to stockouts, coupon drops, undercuts, all that sort of thing. There should be some sort of automated adjustment in pricing. So manual pricing today is now effectively dead weight. It's just not best practice.
Right.
Another important consideration in 2025 certainly is margin visibility. Where we are today, that really requires, I would say, SKU-level margin tracking. And that's after advertising or other promotional costs. It's after shipping, it's after returns. It's not just revenue, it's not just top line. And brands that don't track that with fidelity and cut loss leaders fast, you're going to see them bleed. And obviously, that's not what they want to see. I think one evergreen tactic that we're seeing with retail is about timing. How, when you look at promotions, again, promotions only being really one of the four levers in marketing, so it's product placement, promotion, and pricing. But as you think about the sequencing of your promotions, the tease, the early access, the event, the extension of that promotion, that still works. The difference is in 2025, the winners are going to align those promotion tiers with live inventory information, and they're going to adapt dynamically. They're going to make sure that stock is there, because out of stock is an absolute killer for promotion. And again, visibility, discoverability, and making sure that you're optimizing the algorithm with your retailer. I think a lot of the real-time monitoring tools that are out there, including those from eClerx, allow better channel policing, right? And especially in the reseller market, I think that compliance is absolutely critical. These rogue discounts that can be thrown around can really throw out the balance of being competitive, being dynamic with your pricing. That's more important than ever today with real-time retail media. We've seen in price monitoring, sometimes a reseller will be out of stock, but rather than admit they're out of stock, what they'll do is they'll put a overly inflated price so that no one's ever going to buy. So it still looks for the algorithm as if it's in stock, but that reseller knows that no one's ever going to buy that video game for $800.
Right.
And so these sorts of tactics have to be monitored, caught, and they have to have consequences. So one of the core things to remember when we're talking about prediction is every prediction is wrong. Every prediction is wrong. It's just how large are the error bars that come with it. And so I think that when you're talking about dynamic pricing, you're talking about the prediction of consumer behavior, purchasing. While that is all well and good today, and prices can change by the minute and by the second, based on the data and the signals that we're seeing, it's important to balance that against the realities of supply chain, of logistics, of the time for delivery. And so you can predict all of the inventory you might need based on the pricing tiers that you're putting in place and the automated guidelines. But on occasion, your prediction will be wrong and you won't have enough stock. And so you need to build in some kind of buffer around there that is reflected of the error margins that your predictive model is forecasting. These are all wonderful signals that is basically free market research for us, as long as we have the right tools and analysis and make decisions around what that data is.